I'm gonna compare Stable Diffusion 3 versus Midjourney versus DALL-E 3 on the exact same prompt. I'll rank them on 3 factors: detail, adherence, and coolness. This one is cool, and this one is not so cool. I think it matters a lot. The first prompt we're gonna check out is this cinematic photo of a red apple on a table in a classroom. On the blackboard are the words "go big" or "go home" written in chalk. So this is Stable Diffusion v3, and one of the criticism is that it is kind of lacking on the coolness factor, and you'll see this as we go through the video. Now let's compare it directly with Midjourney to begin with. So this is the picture that Midjourney gave us with the exact same prompt. You can see the apple lacks a little bit in the detail clarity, the realness factor as factor 1. Go big or go home. Go big or go home. Here it's actually adhering to the prompt, but it actually isn't that good at text. But the coolness factor is a lot higher in Midjourney, and that's why a lot of people actually really like it. Now, when we go over to ChatGPT here in DALL-E 3, you can see go big or go home. Very nice typography here as well, with a little line between it. You can see the apple has very good clarity and detail. You see the shadows, and it actually got a lot of coolness there in as well, with the lighting being dramatic from the side as well. So from this picture, I don't know, I actually like the DALL-E 3 the best. There are some of the Midjourney ones that are cool as well, but I don't like how realistic it is, because you kind of like, it looks like there's some sort of neon sign back there, but which shouldn't be kind of how it looks like. Now let's go to number 2. Prompt being a painting of an astronaut riding a pig wearing a tutu holding a pink umbrella. On the ground next to the pig is a robin bird wearing a top hat. In the corner are the words Stable Diffusion. This one really getting the adherence here to the left, to the right, on top of, and holding, and things like that. And in the lower left hand corner, Stable Diffusion, this is a really hard one to do, that they actually have executed perfectly, and it's such a cool style as well. Now let's go over to Midjourney and see what they did with the exact same prompt. It ends up having a good adherence. Of course, it is street art. I don't know where we kind of got street art in there, but apparently that's the style it wanted to use. You do see a robin, but it is to the left. It has an umbrella, and it's doing kind of good. And also, again, the coolness factor is really good here as well. This here image as well, just really cool, very high quality. It does look a little bit that the quality and the clarity is the realness factor is a little weird, because the leg is really wonky right here, but then you have a really detailed pig. Like, I don't know what that is all about, but again, Midjourney doing this here. When it comes to actually having Stable Diffusion in the lower left-hand corner, it's not even having a chance of doing that. So, of course, it is a lot of the missing pieces kind of when it comes to that. When it comes to DALL-E 3, what ended up happening is actually it created 2 images for us. So the first image looks like this, which doesn't look good at all. What is happening? Ended up being some sort of painting style, and it seems like it used a little bit lower generations, like not upscaled version, to make some sort of cheap generation. And here again as well, not really working well, and this is obviously where prompting comes in. Ended up doing some sort of acrylic painting style, which is not really good. Trying to do the Stable Diffusion doesn't really work. I think for sure Stable Diffusion is just killing it with this one here. Next up, studio photograph close-up of a chameleon over a black background. You can really see how detailed it is, and when we get closer, even around the eye, you can see the wrinkles and each of the scales separately, even kind of the color, I don't know, like separation into the other scales also. The detail in the eye is just absolutely ridiculous. You even have some blur here in the background as well, which kind of, to me, comes into the coolness factor, because you're shooting on a really nice lens. against a black background. Obviously, really high quality. Now with Midjourney, what we got was also something very, very cool. So here is how that looks like. I think my favorite of these, we're just gonna focus in on one, is the top right. Also has all of these different scales that just blends in perfectly. Again, the motion blur here, or it's bokeh in the background, being so nice to look at. And obviously the coolness factor here, huge. The eyes, just beautiful how it's able to create this. They do have some other versions here as well. I think Midjourney is really good at doing animals. So here it gets like a 10 out of 10 score, Midjourney, honestly, because it doesn't really have any text. It doesn't really have much of these to the left of or above or beyond. I don't want to see, just say above there. I don't want to say beyond. And when it comes to Dalle-3, you can also see that we get another very stylized, very dramatic photo here that has a backlight that kind of blooms out from the edges of this chameleon. Colors on point. This is obviously like kind of preference wise, but of all of these, I think they perform back to back. So I think all of them get a 10 out of 10 score for this. It's not such a hard prompt to do, and I think you would be happy generating from any one of them. Next up, photo of a 90s desktop computer on a work desk. On the computer screen, it says welcome. On the wall in the background, we see beautiful graffiti with the text SD3 very large on the wall. So it's doing a great job. I'm getting so nostalgic vibes. Me and my friends carrying these to have a LAN party in my friend's basement or my parents' kitchen. Let's see how Midjourney is doing. On this one in particular, it's doing it really kind of I don't know, like graffiti, steampunky, kind of street arty, which I really like. It turns up the dust and the grime and all of the things that are kind of dirty on it, which I kind of like. It does have welcome on the screen. It's also trying to do it in the top. The SD3 on the wall in the background, it couldn't really get that. So the adherence here, you see here, SD3. It does look like it's trying to do SD3 in the background, but it doesn't actually show it off. And what about the ChatGPT generation? Well, what we actually got here is a super cool retro UI that just, I mean, it just gets the nostalgic vibes going. And we actually have a super cool SD3 design on the wall in the background. You almost can't even see that it's SD3, but you can obviously see that it is. So on this one, and I also believe that it has a lot of the coolness factor. You can really see here the Stable Diffusion 3 versus ChatGPT here. ChatGPT just being a lot cooler, and I would love to rather use this image instead of Stable Diffusion. Next up, this one a little bit harder. 3 transparent glass bottles on a wooden table, okay? The one on the left has red liquid and the number 1. The one in the middle has blue liquid and the number 2. The one on the right has green liquid and the number 3. Okay, a lot of these different complicated. You gotta understand the world. So how does Midjourney do with exactly that? Let's scroll a little bit down and see that it actually has been able to do a lot of the things correct, but also not correct in many instances. 1, 2, 3 is kind of hard for it. So 2, 2, 2 is doing 1, 3, 2. It's doing 1, 3, 3, and it's a little bit hard for it to do. You can also see here that it did not get the liquids correctly, like red, blue, and green. So you can see that in many of the cases, red, blue, green, red, blue, green. In actually one of the instances, it didn't follow this pattern. And with text, Midjourney is not so good at text. But one thing that I did see here as well that is kind of a mistake or not real is that you get the green lighting in this bottle to the left. So you would get blue reflection here, not green. So that's kind of weird. And you would also get some sort of red reflection in this bottle here as well. And the same with this bottle. It would actually match the colors together. When we come to Dalle-3, this is how they did it. 1, 2, 3. The color red, blue, green. It has a kind of dramatic and stylized look to it. In this case here as well, if it was transparent, we would see green kind of through the bottle. The same with red. You can see that it has a gloss on the left side here, which is exactly what we're looking for, and a green kind of shine around this bottle here as well, which is exactly what we're looking for. On the ground, green and blue and red mixing together as well. Here you get some sort of teal, and here you do get a little bit purple, but not that much. Still, the coolness factor is really high on it as well. On the left side, the coolness factor is at 0. I mean, it looks like school. Like, this is what you see on Amazon, and this is what you get. Next up, resting on the kitchen table is an embroidered cloth with the text "Good night" and an embroidered baby tiger. Next to the cloth, there is a lit candle. The lighting is dim and dramatic. For stable diffusion here, actually making the embroidery into the cloth looks absolutely beautiful. The level of detail here in the texture is very beautiful. You also see the light here that should actually give sort of a yellowish glow effect around this area that it doesn't do. So it's doing a little bit of a sneaky trick that doesn't work in reality, but of course AI can do whatever it wants. But I would also say that this one has kind of style to it. I like how it's kind of faded blur from the left. How is Midjourney doing with this? Well, Midjourney is actually not doing so well at this at all. It's doing no good night. First of all, the text generation. You can see the well-lit candle here as well. There is some cloth embroidered with a tiger. A cup here with good something. This one as well. It is like very moody and very like cozy. I do kind of like that. But when it comes to the adherence and you actually wanted to have the good night cloth there, you wouldn't be able to use any of it. Dalle-3 looks like this. And I, first of all, really like it. I also like how they included this pottery right here that probably cost $1,000 for pots. I don't know, like my grandma and stuff like that, she has pots for fine china, you know, like that. As you can see, the embroidery here as well, I really like that it doesn't look perfect. Look at the rugged edges here, kind of makes it more cozy. The embroidery of the tiger is obviously super detailed and very nice, as well as the kind of branches on the side here as well. It has a well lit candle, and it does have this color that would be here on the cloth as well. So on this one, let me show you back to back the differences. Like, this is the stable diffusion and this is Dalle-3. I think you can see the style here being a lot better. Personally, I like how Dalle-3 is doing it, but is it really the winner? We can find out by just checking. Next up, night photo of a sports car with the text SD3 on the side of the car. Okay, the car is on the racetrack at high speed. A huge road sign with the text faster. So I've tried to get cars with speed before. You can see the motion lines here on the asphalt. You do see the S3 text on the car, which I also think is kind of hard to do. And the faster that has motion blur. The style here looks really good. I don't know what you did, SD3, but you really turned the style up a lot on this one to make it really sexy. Let's see what Midjourney did. It also did really, really interesting photos here. So you can see neon lights, kind of pink here. You do have the text faster in the top. You do also have SD3 on the car. Midjourney doing text right. You do see the speed and everything like that. So it is actually doing really well. Let's check out some of the other generations. I don't want to go super deep into all the 4 photos, but yeah, Midjourney consistently super high quality photos looking super cool. But again, adherence to text, not its forte. When it comes to ChatGPT this time, it didn't perform particularly well. I really like how the composition is from the background, kind of looking into the racetrack with it at the side. You see it actually did SD3 on the top here, which is not what it's supposed to do. And also no SD3 on the car at all. So here I believe we have to prompt it a couple of more times to get exactly what we're looking for. But again, we got some really cool perspective here where the stable diffusion looks like this and ChatGPT looks like this. So both looking really, really cool. And there's only one photo left, but we can't forget about, next up, a horse balancing on top of a colorful ball in a field with green grass on a mountain in the background. Okay, if you see this in the wild, you are probably wearing Vision Pro on your head, so take that off. But yeah, this is really crazy, and it actually is super realistic somehow. I don't know the muscles needed for this kind of a yoga position. Let's see how Midjourney solved this problem. I feel like Midjourney is kind of like the girl that has to go the extra mile, you know what I mean? Like, put on some extra makeup on this. So yeah, this one, it also doesn't understand physics as much as the other ones, I feel like. So you see that the ball has no squish at all. The muscles aren't even tense on the horse. It does adhere somehow to the prompt. Here it's just dancing in the field of flowers. Here it's not really doing what it's supposed to. And this one here as well. Yeah, Midjourney is not really doing what it's supposed to here. But with ChatGPT, we got this beautiful, bright stallion. Come on. I feel like there could be some sort of movie about this guy, you know? A guy, girl, doesn't matter. You got some jelly beans popping up off of the ground, a little mountain in the background as well. Damn. Yeah, this one looks really cool. It is a lot more stylized, but for Stable Diffusion, it does look more real, like a lot more real, because the ball is squished on the ground. So you obviously get points for that. And then anime style illustration of a newsstand on top of a small grassy hill. On top of the newsstand, we see the text, "It's here." In the background, we see a big rain approaching, so some dark clouds. I really like the stand here, and it's also only newspapers, right? There's no candy, there's no thing around. I like how this also is in the style of anime, right? So you have the grass here in this style. Let's check out Midjourney. I think that it actually did a decent job here. Now, what actually happened is it kind of made it into a vending machine on this photo. It definitely did have the rain, and the styling is super, super cool. Here as well, you have another one where here it's, I don't think we can judge it on the text, and then here it's at this point. It's here, they actually have more of a vending machine, I think. And here, they have it on the top of a cliff with kind of like it looks like a mix between a bus station and a vending machine. It does look kind of cool, but again, not really what we're looking for. I think I like the number one a lot though. It does look super, super cool. With Dalle-3, what we got was this, which, come on, isn't this crazy? Look at this newsstand. It also has some sort of vines growing up on it. It has the stormy cloud in the background with all this purple flowy strings and this anime style. Like, if I would watch a movie or anime, I would way rather watch this one compared to, well, I don't know, maybe this one. I like, there's so many different styles, but yeah, this style here is also really cool. I don't know which one, but there's a lot more going on with the green light here as well, the orange hue, the sun beaming off to the right. So comparing all of them, did you find your favorite yet? I really like how Stable Diffusion is able to do text really well. It's also able to put things to the left of, on top of, in the hand. But there is one thing that it just doesn't do as well, where ChatGPT has a leg up. Midjourney is by far the worst one that I've seen here, mainly just because it's not even trying to compete at text. It seems like they are putting a lot of eggs into making the web platform work. And maybe when they drop the new web platform, they also drop a new model, ChatGPT and Dalle-3. I like the style. It's able to do text. It's able to do on top of, to the left of, to a certain degree. I would rather take the style of ChatGPT any day than some sort of math teacher, science lab looking ass that looks like it was in my textbooks in school when we had these computers around. I'm just kidding. I love Stable Diffusion. We will get different models once it gets open source, where the community will give us the best things that we can wish for. But to end it, I believe my favorite and the one that I would use to be ChatGPT and Dalle-3. But that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to find your #1 ChatGPT prompt to save you 7 hours per week, click the link in the description down below. Or if you want to keep watching my videos, click this video here, and I'll see you there. Peace.